Correct.
Okay, so I'm here today with my very special guest and friend, Penny Love. Welcome, Penny. Thank you for joining
Hi,
us.
thank
So
you for me.
this is really exciting to me because all these lovely guests have agreed to join me for HSP Extrovert Awareness Week, and this one I kind of thought this would be a good topic because in my free group there are a lot of ladies who are single, and what I've learned from speaking from my own experience and from speaking to many of them over the years is that dating for HSP extrovert women is really quite challenging. So I thought, well, who better to get to come and talk to us than my very good friend Penny? And so I'll just tell you a little bit about her and then I'll let her introduce herself as well. So, Penny Love is a love coach and relationship expert. And if you hear banging in the background, I'm just going to let you know there's massive wind here at the moment, and my awning on the caravan is just going bang, bang. So I might get a bit distracted by that as we go. But anyway.
You hear some dodgy noises in my background. That's my dog Lola, who is just woken up and she's like
She wants to be a part of it. That's like Buddy. Buddy might pop up later as well.
hopping
So
everywhere.
this is the beauty of going live from around the world in your caravan, in your house, whatever. These sorts of things happen. All right. So Penny Love is a love coach and a relationship expert, specialising in highly sensitive and empathic women. Penny teaches them boundaries and teaches them to protect themselves from narcissistic men and help them achieve the relationship of their dreams by restoring their self-esteem, worthiness, and their confidence. Penny empowers women to be brave enough to say no to Mr. Wrong and have the courage to wait for Mr. Right, all while transforming them into the feminine goddess they deserve to be. Penny's also the founder of The Love School, which is an online membership platform for single ladies where she teaches, supports, and guides her members through the different stages of life. Whether they've just broken up from their partners and in the healing stage learning to love themselves, or single and going on dates, or dating healthy, high value guys, having loving relationships with healthy boundaries. And I can attest that I'm not in Penny's Love School because I need to date people, but I did a guest appearance in Penny's Love School, so I've been watching the amazing work that she does. But I'll let her tell you more about that. So Penny, over to you. If you want to let us know, kind of, how you came to be doing what you're doing, and also how being HSP extrovert kind of played into that for you.
Into everything. Well, I didn't know that I was an HSP extrovert until I met you. So I was blind for 40 years of my life. And I am now 46 years old, so I think I've known you for 6 years now. And my life has taken a turn. The first turn that my life took, I was about 39-ish when I read a book called The Rule, because I was single and dating and I wasn't getting anywhere. And I always felt like I was too much, or I felt short. I didn't know what was happening. It was just like a disaster after a disaster. And then when I would be with a guy, the natural breakups that happened, they were like massive breakups, and it took me forever to get over them. So I had very big chunks of my life that I was single, but because I was still hurting from the last relationship, and I was too scared to get into a new relationship. So some random lady said to me, well, read this book and this book. And I was like, what? These books?
Really?
It didn't occur to me. It didn't even occur to me that there was like go and there was books that, what? Because for my whole life, you just go out to the bars, have a few drinks, meet a guy, and bam, next day you're in a relationship. It just kind of happened to me, like go to the bar, meet a guy, boom, I was married. But in my 20s, like, meet a guy, go to the bar, have a drink, meet another guy, boom, you're in another relationship. And like that until I hit my late 30s. And this book, like all the examples that they were explained in the book, I was like, I am that girl, I am the rules girl. It's like, this book is like these authors, Ellen Fine and Sherry Snyder, like, they know me, they're talking to me. I read the book cover to cover in one night, and I went to work without sleeping. I finished the book, showered, and went to work. You know,
as you do.
Then when I came home, I read the book again, and I decided that I was going to be a rules girl. And I just like trotting along, doing the rules, and I still could not do the rules, Jen, because the rules, although it has got a bad rep because people think it's like about manipulation and it's like some magic trick you do it to the guy that the guy's gonna fall in love with you. The rules are boundaries, and the rules are being your feminine, in your feminine energy. The rules are love yourself, but I didn't love myself. I didn't know what boundaries were. I was not in a feminine energy because I had been independent for so many years with a very masculine job, and you're like, nobody says, oh, be feminine, right? Is that everyone says like, oh, do it like a man, right? It was like, that was the thing back then. So of course, doing the rules didn't come natural to me. It just felt like so difficult. So I hired a coach, and she helped me to get, and like the most important thing that this coach did for me was she created awareness, right? But she still didn't know I was an empath. It still didn't know, even though she coached me, she was not that kind of coach. She was just a rules coach. She didn't know I was an empath. She didn't know I was highly sensitive. She was like, you're really extroverted, so you need to calm down. And I was like, what are you saying? She was like, yes, meditate. I was like, are you crazy? Meditate?
Can't do that.
Can you imagine, like, I am like, and she's telling me, calm down a date. Don't tell the guy everything about your life on the first 5 minutes. Like I'm doing with you right now.
Such a HSP extrovert thing to do.
Right? She's telling me meditate, and I'm like, this woman is like, she doesn't know me. This woman is crazy, right? It was hilarious. Like, we used to argue. I used to argue with coach. I was like, but don't you see? I'm like this. I can't be like you're telling me to be. And then after that, I did really well. I coached with her for 9 months. I stuck with her. I was like, she's gonna help me. I stuck with her with it. 9 months. I knew so much about dating and about the rules for fun because I loved it so much. I created a group, and I met all the rules girls, and I was like, my people, the rules girls were my people, because unbeknownst to me, even though that I didn't know that yet at this stage, like most rules girls are empaths, most rules girls are highly sensitive, they're like nice girls like me, and not all of them were extroverted, most of them were actually introverted. So I still, not found my place yet. And then when I became a coach, and I was in this group with female entrepreneurs, and I don't know, you said, come and join my group, and I just followed you, and I ended up in your group, and I was like, my people.
I love it.
Because before I met you, Jen, I had read lots of empath books, and I had read one HSP book, and I didn't when you read the books, the empaths, they're like mainly for like if you are like gifted, like you are like clairvoyant or something, or like you're super introverted. And I was like, well, maybe I'm empathetic, but I am not an empath because I'm very extroverted. And when they talk about highly sensitive people, they will have these pains. And I was healthy. I didn't have any fibromyalgia. I didn't have any um, problems that the normal, I have my bits and pieces, like little quirkiness of the highly sensitive people, but I didn't have any. So I couldn't identify until I met you, and you explain everything. You educate us so well, Jen. Thank you so much. Like all these links that you post all the time about psychology and about empaths and about especially extroverted empaths, because we are only 2% of the population. So there is not many of us, and not even like psychologists don't know about us. All these experts, they don't, because empathy is not a psychological condition, it's not a mental illness, so it doesn't get studied at university when people do their right. So it's just us now coaches, that us empaths that are discovering therapies, and we are learning about what it is to be an empath and highly sensitive. You know more about highly sensitive than me, and I've learned everything I know from you.
Thank you. Thank
And
you
you
for that.
helped me so much when I was doing the rules. I was really good about putting boundaries in dating, friends, strangers. Like, okay, so now you know me, I'm the rules girl. I have boundaries, I'm not opening, right? But it was impossible for me to put boundaries with my family, because you taught me I needed verbal boundaries. And I was scared. I was so scared because as HSPs, we are not confrontational people, are we? We don't like confrontation. We don't like to make an argument. We don't like conflict. We don't like to fight. So we kind of chicken away from all these big talks, right? So only because of your help, I was able to deal with this massive problem. And I never had a problem ever since it got started.
That is so cool. Thank you for sharing that. And I think I can definitely relate to everything you were saying about the dating and everything you say about HSP extroverts, obviously. And I think all the ladies that are watching this, any of them who are single, will actually be able to relate very well to your story. I'm just going to keep checking my phone to see if anybody can join us live. It's a bit of an awkward time because I seem to, when the
Yeah.
US are awake, a lot of people tend to join us, but when the US are asleep, the UK people, well, it's first thing in the morning for them, so they're probably getting ready for work. But anyway, I'll keep checking my phone. And if you are watching the recording of this and you have any questions for Penny or myself or any comments, we love to hear them. So even if it's the recording, please comment below, because Penny and I will circle back, and if there are any questions that come out, we'll be happy to answer them for you. So please let us know you're watching on the replay, and let us know where you're watching from as well, so we can see how far and wide this
And if
spreads.
you are our people, type my people.
Yes, love that. Here, I'm with my people. Beautiful. And the other thing I want to say, so your story is very similar to mine, and I was the same. I was very living in my masculine energy. I was taught to, I think, as most of us who are in their kind of around their 40s and 50s, we were taught to go after the career you want. What you want. If you want to buy a house, you go and buy a house. You do all the things. You become very, very independent. And I was the same as you when somebody handed me the book The Rules, because I think it was in my early 30s. I think one of my best friends gave it to me. But all throughout my 20s, I was just like disaster after disaster, pretty much, in terms of relationships. But like you, I really struggled with the rules. As soon as I read the book, I went exactly like you. Oh my gosh, this is me. I so need to do this. because in this book is exactly why I am still single now, because I'm doing it all wrong, basically.
Yeah.
And I copped a bit of, I made the mistake of telling some male friends about it, and they don't like it because they're like, oh, it's all manipulation, and like everything that you were saying, which it
No,
is
it's not.
not at all. So, yeah, I want to just kind of reiterate what you said about that, because it's not. It is just teaching us boundaries and to live more in our feminine energy.
Have boundaries, and men don't like that, because then if you have boundaries, then they can't take advantage of you. So there's all these toxic males are against the rules, because the rules tell you to love yourself. So now they can't manipulate you, they can't take advantage of you, they can't be nasty to you, because you're not going to allow it, isn't it? And they are going to say, the rule says allow, lean back, don't go chasing the guy. So now all these men that were having it easy, served in a silver platter for them to take advantage of you and then run away the next morning, now they have, right? So of course these men, what are they gonna say? They say, oh, manipulation, so wrong, right?
Yeah, and it's the classic case of, because the rules really is like a boundaries handbook, and anybody who's done my boundaries challenge will know that when you start putting boundaries in place, you do get some pushback from the people that you're trying to put the boundaries in place from. And so it's exactly what you're describing. If you start implementing the rules, men who take advantage of women don't like them. And so what we say is, don't worry about them, because they're not the right man for you anyway.
Exactly.
So I really struggle.
We love that they run away and they don't like us anymore, because they're not the right people for us.
Yeah, it's like they take themselves out of the equation, which is actually doing us a favor. Yeah, exactly. And I was so giggling when you were talking about when you meet a guy and you tell him everything in the first 5 minutes, and because that is so me. I still do that, not to men obviously, but just to people. HSP extroverts tend to be oversharers.
Supermarket, before I can realize, I'm like, blah 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 blah. Where did that come from? I don't even know how it happens, but I just talk to people. I love talking to people. I love this job because I get to talk to people all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think most of the ladies watching this, I think, could relate to that. Is we do tend to be oversharers, and that can be what gets us hurt in friendships as well as relationships as well. And we're not saying you need to change that, but there are things you can do, obviously, to reduce the potential hurt that's going to happen. So what I did was, I was like you. I tried practicing the rules, and did some, didn't some, but what I found is that every single time I broke the rules, the guy would run away. And I was like, there's something to this. So I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. Many fails and hiccups along the way, but I knew there was something to it. So I kept going with it. And and the thing about, and Warren doesn't know this, by the way, I'm a rules girl. We haven't had this conversation, but anyway, what I realize is, if I hadn't followed the rules with him, I think he would have run away as well. Not because he is a man to take advantage of women, but because he wasn't sure if he was ready for a relationship. Because when we met, he had been, I think it was about 3.5 years out of a very long-term relationship, which is where my stepchildren and now grandchildren come from, is his previous relationship. And so the way he described it to me is, he said it took him about 1.5 years to kind of get past the breakup and the hurt, but then for the 18 months before he re-met me, because we've known each other since we went to primary school together, but when we kind of re-met, he'd had 18 months where he just started kind of living his life and enjoying his freedom and getting back to kind of the true him. So he wasn't really sure if he was ready to jump into anything else. And so if I hadn't followed the rules with him, if I'd done the pre-rules Jen, I would have been yes, exactly. He would have felt suffocated. I probably would have chased him. So he would have run in the other direction. So it does work, and I mean there's that many testimonials and statistics out there to show that it works. But that's been
Yeah,
my experience with it, and that's why when we were doing this awareness week, I thought Penny would be the perfect guest to bring on to talk about, so that some of our HSP extrovert ladies can
yeah,
get out there and perhaps give it a go. So,
yes.
Penny, in terms of the dating thing, what would you say that are the biggest mistakes that HSP extrovert women make?
Oh, where should I start? Okay, so we we love chatting. We love talking to people. So the first mistake, for example, imagine that you are online dating and you are in any of the online apps that we have today, like Tinder or Match or anything like that. We chat. We get talking to someone and we get into chat fests with strangers. And this feels really good. And if you take out the HSP part, okay, women, when we text with other people, we release oxytocin because we are bonding. We release the bonding hormone, but men don't. So error number one that HSP women do is that they bond over text with strangers and they get into fantasy relationship with men that they have never met in their lives. And I get phone calls, I get consultation with women. It's like my boyfriend. So we are long distance. When is the last time you met him? I never met him. We
Gosh,
went together.
wow. But
And
it makes
it's
sense why
like,
that happens, though, because of what you say about the oxytocin, and so we
and the
get
more
attached before we should.
they get
Yes.
attached. And as we get attached more, we get attached more than, any other uh, person, without being empathetic, without being HSP. Like normal people already in this process, they already get attached and it's a dangerous situation. Dating is not an even playing field, Jen. It's very unfair for women, especially in today's world. We are in a man's world, and we everything is geared to like sex and um instant gratification and we are living in the era of the hookup culture. And but women, and especially HSP women, we of course we want the hookup, we want the sex, and we want the fun, but we most of everything, we want connection, we want intimacy, we want to feel loved, we want to feel that we belong, we want to feel all the feelings. But this culture that we live nowadays is not conducive to that. So it's very good if you do the rules to protect your heart so that you don't end up a victim of what's happening today in the world, isn't it? Can you imagine during the pandemic how many women got into fantastic relationship with men trapped in their houses, and when the pandemic finished, the breakups, the heartbreaks, like
Yeah.
these guys were like, it's like the doors are open again, let's go out, have fun. These women were broken hearted at home, suffering like proper grief, like if somebody has died, the
Yep.
same amount of stress and the same amount of pain. Is just really painful.
It
So
is, and I
that is
think, can I just highlight something you just said, because I think that was really something that rang true for me when you say that the rules help you protect your heart. That is so true, and I just really wanted to reiterate that, because just the way it works is it allows you, it's almost like, the way I think of it is, the man has to prove he's worthy before
Yes.
you open up. So therefore you don't have to worry as much about getting hurt because they're set up to help protect us. So that's what I just wanted to highlight, that because that's what I noticed as well, is I felt a little safer, my heart felt safer going through the process that way, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest first kind of mistakes. Just off the bat, you're on the dating apps, you already set up for failure because you're chatting every 5 minutes, right? And then there is we are like available. We're like yes. We always say yes, right? We like never say no. We're like available. Do you need a hand? Sure. Do you need help with the shopping? Sure. Do you need help moving your entire house? Sure, I'll help you. We're always there to help everyone. Do you want to meet tonight? Sure. I have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but sure, I'll meet you tonight. We always say yes. And like a date is like fun, right? We love fun. we love having fun. We love meeting people. Of course we're gonna say yes. So that is another big mistake we do, because our personality again sets us up for failure by being too available. And like girls, like the grandmothers, they said, play hard to get. There is a method to the madness. There is a reason, and it's because if you are suddenly like the guy says, let's meet tonight, and you say yes, you stop being a challenge to him. And you like imagine if he saw you that you were a 10, you suddenly become a 7 just for being available. Think about like the nice handbag, the Hermes handbag that everybody wants. Why does everybody want it? Because it's not available. Like if you go to Hermes shop, £7,000, can I have that bag in the window? No, you can't have it. You can't have it. You have to woo the shop to get the bag, and you have to get the guy to woo you to come to get to meet you. The same way, the minute that you are too available, the minute that you are too willing, the minute that you are easy, I'm sorry that it sounds dirty to say easy, because we're not even talking about sex, we're only talking about coffee tonight, right? That's already easy for them. And if you were 10, imagine in his eyes, you're like, wow, perfect. You already devalue yourself in the male's eyes. And this is very sexist. But do you know what? Dating is sexist because we are women of one sex and they are male of the other sex, and we all think differently. We are wired differently. And the other day I was like, someone was like, you're so sexist. And I was like, hello, newsflash, dating is sexist. It's the battle of the sexes, and the dating field is not an even field. We have to take care of ourselves, women. And especially if the guy is good looking, especially if he's got a good job, especially if he's considered to be high value. He has girls lining up to see him. Which one is the one that he's gonna pay attention? The one that he can't have? This is the same for men and for women. We always want what we can't have. If you say no, I'm not available, suddenly it's like beep, beep, beep. What? How can you not be available? Well, can you meet tomorrow? Can you meet the day after? And it's always like this. Even though my girls are so scared to say no, they always try. They always keep trying, because you can't say no to them. They get away with everything, don't they? Like these good-looking ones, right? So you have to be clever like this. And this is why they say, oh, it's strategy, oh, this is manipulation. No, this is being smart. This is loving yourself. This is like, before you say yes to a date tonight, what time do you have to wake up tomorrow? Do you have stuff to do? Do you have cooking? Do you have to do your laundry? Have you already said yes to somebody else? That is something that we do as well. We always are like, we overbook ourselves, we double book ourselves with people, right? We overcommit. So we have to take care of ourselves. And
I
I'm
think
sorry, people,
that's really
HSPs
key.
don't like this because we're good girls, right? We are.
And that's the thing, what you say about we overcommit, because this applies to just not just dating. This applies to just as you say, helping people, general life. We have that tendency to say yes, and then we go, oh my gosh, now all of a sudden we've got all this stuff on, then we get overstimulated, then we get overwhelmed, and then we think, oh my gosh, I can't cope with all of this. And so it's the same sort of concept with the dating. It's about self-respect, and it's about valuing yourself enough to kind of make yourself less available, because as you say, we want what we can't have, and you don't want to just be one of those easy people, because that isn't valuing yourself. Yes, exactly. I think that's key.
And Mr. Right, that's not when you to be available tonight, because he wants you to stay at 10. So you are helping him because he doesn't want you to be easy. He wants to win the girl. Men, this is the masculine energy. They love the competition. They want to win the girl. They want to win your affections. They want to woo you. They don't want it to be easy. They want to slay the dragon. Like in the fairy tales, right? They want to slay the dragon for the girl if they need to. They will happily, because that just raises their self-esteem, their testosterone, their masculine energy. They feel awesome. And the girl, how happy is the girl when the guy, does all this stuff for you? We're like, oh, I'm so sorry, right? So everyone is happy when you play the feminine role. Everyone is happy because then you force him to play his masculine role. And then that's how couples survive. If you play your side, what did I say? If you play your side and he plays his side, then everyone is happy and everybody gets what they want. You get what you want as a girl, and the guy will get what he wants eventually.
Yeah,
and I think
that's another key point, I think, with a rules relationship, is it's about a rules relationship is an ideal relationship where both partners are really happy together. And so this process is really just about finding the right person for you, but also ensuring that that relationship is kind of built in such a way that it's fulfilling for both of you, and then therefore it's got the good foundation and the building blocks, so it's more likely to then last. Whereas if you just, and I think, because I remember the example I read in the book was something about, like, if you're at the pub and say you approach a man and say, hey, here's my number, or can I have your number, he'll probably say yes, and you may end up in a relationship with him, because he's like, hey, if you're half decent and you're an attractive person and you're a relatively normal person, you potentially will end up in a relationship with that person. But it's not a rules relationship. He didn't have to chase you, he didn't have to slay the dragons, so therefore he's still going to be wanting that. So it's about giving the man what his brain is hardwired to desire.
And it was not his idea.
Yep.
It was not his idea. And would you have chased Warren and didn't do the rules, he would have run away from you. It was because you did the rules. It had to be his decision. He has to come to you. He has to come and chase you. And it was by his own free will. And this is very empowering to a man, because men, they always talk about marriage, the ball and chain. It is the ball and chain when you are with the wrong woman, but when you are with the right woman that he has decided, he saw, he chased, he asked her out, he courted her, he slayed the dragon, and he will be just like, he will be the one giving you the ball and all that.
Yeah, yeah, put this on because you're mine.
Yeah, you are mine, exactly. And you know, spiritually speaking, and this is so sexist and this is so wrong to say, but it's a big truth. Women, we want to be owned, we want to be contained, we love that sense of belonging, and it makes us feel safe, and we want that from a masculine partner. We don't want him to manipulate us, we don't want him to control us, we don't want him to, you know, we are not incarcerated, but we are contained, we are kept safe. It's like a feeling, not an action. We like that feeling, it makes us feel safe.
Yep,
So that's how girls, we're happy. These little things make us happy within the relationship. And as masculine energy men love to offer that protection, right? Because masculine energy is the 3 P's: protect, provide, and pursue. So, and those 3 things make him feel good and make him feel like he loves you, and you feel protected, you feel pursued, you feel cherished, you feel taken care of. And that's how both sides of the that's how polarity works, right? Because we don't compete with one another, but we complement one another.
Yep. And I think that's where some of the resistance, I think, to the rules, because if you're watching this and you're a independent, successful woman, then
yes,
you're going to
CEO.
probably yes, you're going to feel some resistance, because I felt some resistance when I first went into the rules, and I think that is because as a society, and there's a lot to be said for women's rights. Obviously, we're all applauding women's rights.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, one of the things that it did do was it taught women to live more in their masculine energy.
Yes.
But the price we've paid for that is less satisfaction in relationships, because we're doing it all wrong. We're going about trying to find a relationship like a man would, and that is not going to be satisfactory for us, because it's not going to leave us feeling fulfilled. So I think it's society has kind of almost set us up to fail because of women's rights. And I'm not saying women's rights should disappear by any stretch of the imagination, but in this area of our life, so if you just, the way I kind of categorized it was, well, yeah, I can have the career I want. Yeah, I can buy what I want with my money. But in the area of relationships, what I've been doing is so obviously not working. And this is why, because we're going against the fundamental way that male and female brains are wired. And so I think that's the rules helps us get back in touch with that, so everybody ends up benefiting from it. But I'm just wanted to kind of just put it out there that you might be feeling a little bit of resistance if you're a strong independent woman listening to this, but I invite you to just be open-minded and give it a go.
You want to be a strong, independent, successful, and you want to be loved. And you want your guy to be a guy. So if you want to have it all, then you can be strong, independent, and masculine and kill it at the office. But when you are dating, you need to lean back in your feminine and practice your being feminine, practice being on your soft side, practice let him take care of everything. That already, just let him take care of everything. Let him take care of the planning. Let him take care of the booking of the restaurant. Let him come up with date ideas to woo you instead of, because it's so easy. Oh my God, this is another thing. Empath and HSP-E people, we like the best planners of the world. And we have the best ideas, like we have the best date ideas, but girls, we can't come up with the ideas. It has to be him, because dating is for him to court us. So you need to like your ideas and just go and see what he has to offer. Because if you are doing the planning, you're coming up with the ideas, guess what? You're not dating him, you're dating yourself. You're going to amazing dates, which is like, oh my God, I was so embarrassed to realize this about myself. It's like, I used to go to amazing dates. Who did these dates? Me. I planned them, everything. Of course, they were amazing. I organized them. But the guy didn't do anything, he just showed up. And
No effort
a
required.
relationship with the guy just showed up. And then the next day he disappeared. Sometimes he even leaves you with the bill, right? So, girls, you need to like chill out and just let him live. This is gonna kill you. He killed me. Probably killed you as well. But just practice makes perfect. Just chill out, lean back, let him live. And like this also, you will see his problem solving ability. You will see how his imagination, because guys on the beginning stages of the date, this is when they're gonna do their best. So see what his best is, because you're not gonna see his best when he's married. If you marry a guy that you have to do everything for, guess what? You will have to cut his steak with, 5 years down the line, you'll be doing everything for him. You'll be his mother. So you need to chill out and let him do all the work, all the planning. Let him lead the old-fashioned way.
That's brilliant. Yep. And so that just brought me to another kind of side note of this topic, because one of the things that I asked you about before we got on was how does it work with same-sex couples? So let's say, given that my audience is predominantly HSP extrovert women, so if we're talking about same-sex female couples, how would that kind of change things or shift things or?
Yeah, so this is something that I've, as a rules coach, I really learned, because I thought, well, with the same couples, the female side, because even though in a homosexual relationship, there's always a female side and there is always a masculine side, even though both people are the same sex, we both have masculine and we both have feminine. And this has got nothing to do with like like the butch lesbian might be the masculine. Actually, she might be the feminine, right? Or like the butch guy with the mustache and the leather, right? You're like, imagine that he might be the masculine. Actually, he might be the feminine, because this is just how we are on the outside. In the inside, we are very different. Imagine you and me, we are so feminine, Jen, but we behave very masculine before we did the rules, right? So this is just how energy works. It's just like a different thing. So it's got nothing to do with sex, and it doesn't have anything to do with appearance. So as a new coach, I was, saying, right, so like the feminine side, what it looked feminine to me without knowing very much at the time, is the one that does the rules, but actually it's not. It is the sensitive person, whether they are masculine or whether they are feminine. It's got nothing to do. It is the sensitive one. It's the one that needs to protect themselves. So that is the person that needs to do the rules.
That makes sense. Yep. So chances are, in my audience, given most of them, probably 99.9% of them HSPs, probably if you're listening to this and you're a HSP, then you're probably the sensitive one, and therefore you pretty much fall into the same category as us. We're doing the rules, and the rules will work in your favor for sure.
Yes. And if you are a guy, HSP, and you are gay, then you are supposed to do the rules. And I wouldn't say, and even if you are not homosexual, but you are a guy, you will do the rules. Okay, homosexual guys do whatever floats your boat. If you want to initiate and take the masculine lead, that it doesn't matter. In homosexual relationships, sometimes the lead is interchangeable actually, and they have fun, taking turns. So, and that's what makes them work actually. It's quite nice to be like that. But if you are a heterosexual male, you can do the rules. You wouldn't lean back in your feminine, but you will take a step before acting, and you will have boundaries. And I remember, Jen, I learned so much because of you. I remember that you said to me once, oh, watch this. It was a podcast, and it was the guy that did the podcast, and he was highly sensitive. And I learned that highly sensitive men, like highly sensitive women, we tend to fall in a trap of narcissistic men. It works the other way around. Highly sensitive males tend to fall in the trap of NCD women, women with a personality disorder. What is the word, Jen?
NPD is narcissistic personality disorder.
Not narcissistic,
No, it's not that.
It's personality disorder.
It's not borderline, is it?
Borderline personality disorder. That is the word. Thank you. So if you are a highly sensitive guy, heterosexual, you need to check with your boundaries and take a step before you act, so that you don't fall trap, because they can be, if they are not border personality disorder, it can be treated with therapy. You cannot be cured, but it can be contained, and you can lead a healthy life if you are in therapy. And you do your homework, you do the work, it's called. But if she's not, then it can be very, very damaging and very, very toxic.
I can imagine. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So I learned that because of you, Jen.
Thank you. And so I think that's great that the rules are can be universally applied, because we live in a society now that obviously it isn't just heterosexual couples. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that's really valuable. So are there any other mistakes that you wanted to talk about, or how the rules can help HSP extrovert women? We've done a bit of that already, but anything that we've kind of missed?
Yes. Well, we talked about letting the guy lead. We're so excitable, we're so happy, we're so extroverted, we have so many amazing ideas. We tend to take the lead before we even realize. So I want you to be conscious that when you are at work with your friends, be you, have fun, come up with the ideas, do all the planning, excellent. But when you are on dates, you are now, just think of yourself, you are a goddess, and the goddess doesn't do anything. The guy is there to serve you, and just play this, even if it's ridiculous at first in your head, just play this role. Just imagine that you are Cleopatra and you're dating Marco Antonio, and he's at your feet, right? Like my queen. This kind of energy I want to see from you. And it might sound very comedic, right? But because we are so open and so extroverted, it's good that if you take it in your head to the next extreme, and then you'll fall somewhere in the middle, and you'll come out looking, magnificent. So
I love it.
you will never be looking like, oh, you're conceited or acting up or high maintenance or anything like that. You probably just come up somewhere in the middle, and yes, you come up like a 10 in his eyes.
I love it. Awesome. So I've just checked the time. We've almost been going for an hour already. So let's I know, it's crazy, isn't it? So do you have any, let's say we've got some ladies watching this, and if you are watching the replay, please let us know what you're thinking below. do you have any quick tips that if they're watching this, and I mean, obviously you recommend they probably read the book, but if they want to kind of start applying it straight away, what quick tips could you give them that they can start to perhaps
Yeah.
practice?
So there's this dating app out there that everybody is getting into. My tip is, do not go on Bumble dating app, because Bumble it's made so that the girl has to take the first step. So that already breaks everything. So it will not be a rules relationship. I have lots of girls saying, but Penny, there's all the good looking guys out there, and my best dates with the best high value guys are there. It's like, yeah, with the guy that you will never go anywhere with, or like, God forbid that you do, it will never be a rules relationship. He will never marry you. He never had to chase you. It's like cake. Somebody give you cake, right? Like, you don't like say, oh, no cake. Like, you eat it, it make it pretty, and they put it inside, like, oh, Jen, eat the cake. No, we all fall and we eat the cake. Guys are the same. They love cake. They can't say no to cake. If the cake comes in a silver platter, i.e. Bumble, they'll say yes to the cake. And they might not even like a strawberry cake, but they'll eat it because it's there, right?
Yep, exactly.
Maybe he's looking for chocolate, but he's like, oh, I'll have strawberry in the middle.
Yeah, I'll start with this now. Yeah, chocolate can come
I'll
later.
have it as a starter. And a lot of men are out there looking for women to, like, as a warm body for their beds. And I don't want any highly sensitive women to fall trap to be that, because that kind of thing is heartbreaking, especially for us. And there might be women that they can deal and that they're okay just being this, and they probably prefer it, but a highly sensitive or empathetic women is never gonna be like this. We want the love, we want the connection, we want the commitment, we want the loyalty, we want if we invest, we want it to be for the long haul, right? And that's like every girl's dream. So don't do that. Don't start off on the wrong foot. If you like online dating, you like Tinder, they say it's hook up, but it's not, because you're gonna do the rules. You're not gonna hook up, right? So it doesn't matter what people say. Most of my clients, they meet on Tinder and they're happily married. It's just how it happens nowadays. Not all of us had the luck, like Jen, that they met their soulmate at preschool. Can you believe it? She's so lucky.
It took us quite a few years to
right?
Yeah, took us a few years to reconnect, but I still come back to the fact that, and I definitely didn't do the rules perfectly with him, because I do remember early on in our relationship, we weren't even actually really in a relationship yet. We were still kind of in the dating stage, and I went to America, and I remember one night I broke the rules, went out for a few drinks, and because of the time difference and the jet lag and all of that, I was awake in the middle of the night, and I'm thinking, oh, he'll be awake too because it's daytime in Australia. So I sent him a message. So I instigated the contact, which is very naughty. And guess what? Almost immediately I felt him backing away. So that's another example of, and the reason I share this is because don't feel like you have to do it perfectly. It's okay to make mistakes, but
Yes.
but pay attention to what happens when you make the mistake, because if I had kept going like that, if I'd then, because what can happen is then we go, oh no, maybe I said something wrong. So you then send another message going, oh, did I do something wrong? And then you start coming across as desperate. But luckily what I did is I realised, I went, oh, Jen, you did it again. You broke the rules. So then I went back to doing the rules. So you don't have to give up just because you make a mistake, but pay attention to what happens when you do break the rules, because that is in itself a very powerful learning, because it's proof and it's evidence that they're working.
Jane, and I just remember something that I have in my notes that I wanted to run by you. One of the biggest mistakes that HSP-E women make is because we are so helpful, we always putting others first to the point that we self-neglect. And this is so detrimental if you are out there, if you are seeing, well, it's detrimental for women, period, for everybody. But it's extra detrimental if you're out there and you're single. And I get a lot of women that they're like, all the time, they're like thinking of the guy. It's like, no, don't think of the guy. He can take care of himself, right? Think of you. And we have this almost like we are we want to help, we want to fix the problem, we don't want anyone to suffer, we don't want anyone to work hard, because it just, we like natural fixers, helpers, healers, right? Coaches, right? We want to fix everything and we want to heal the world. We don't want anyone to suffer, we don't want anyone to wait for us, we don't want anyone, right? And this is just really detrimental on when you are dating, because the minute that you put him first, you are sending the message that you don't love yourself. And you are telling him, I don't respect you. This is the message that he will read. She doesn't love herself. She doesn't respect herself. She's got low self-esteem. She's easy. He's judging you constantly. And dating is judging, right? We're judging each other. But this is, you have to take extra good care of yourself when you are dating. So, because you know, we all do the self-love, right? But the self-love is how you act on things. It will show to him whether you love yourself or not. And nobody wants to date somebody that they don't love themselves.
And I think that's a really good point, and something that just occurred to me is that doing the rules in itself is like a personal growth, personal development
Oh yes.
adventure that you go on, because it is part of it is to improve your self-worth, improve your self-love, take care of yourself. So if you are looking for, if you're listening to this and you're kind of realizing, wow, I could probably do a bit of work in terms of taking care of myself, not putting other people first, looking after myself, improving my self-esteem, then the rules again can start to help to give you that as well, which I think is a really powerful thing.
The first chapter on the rules is rule 1. Be a creature unlike any other, which means you are going to love yourself. You're going to take super good care of yourself. You're going to do stuff to boost your self-esteem. You're going to have the highest self-worth ever, which will translate in the highest value. In the way you act like high value, like you are expensive. Like if you want to come up as high maintenance, I love when my girls get, the guy says you're high maintenance, I'm like, that is a 5-star review. Yes, we are high maintenance. Why not? Right? Yep. They don't go, oh, I want a little full fiesta because it's low maintenance, right? Guys want high maintenance cars. Everybody wants the high value, high maintenance. You have to take care of things that are high value. And we are high value, ladies. So you have to take care of yourself, love yourself, higher self-worth, higher self-respect, and it's all about you. You are the product, right? So you have to market yourself like the highest value of, right? And it's not like you're going to be competing with the other women in the market, because there's only one you, and the guy is looking for you, right? He wants a girl that smiles like you, that has your energy, that has your beautiful smile, your sense of humor. He's looking for a HSP girl, right? We they love, because we really, 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 really feminine. We are sensitive. We are so empathetic. We are so nurturing, and that we have very beautiful feminine energies. And he's looking for a girl just like you. He doesn't want like a thick-skinned girl. He doesn't want like we all pretend to be, right? That was me before, right? I always were like, toughen up, grow thicker skin, be cool. And inside I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Everything the opposite. Yeah.
it was the opposite. So be sensitive, own your sensitivity, own your empathy, own your beautiful heart, own who you are. But love yourself, take very good care of yourself, and present yourself in the highest value possible. Highest, just think like you are like a Rolls Royce. And you are big, you're like Oprah's mansion. Right? If you were an object in the market, you would be the top of the top, the creme de la creme. Okay? And then like this, you will get yourself like attracts like. If you want a nice, high value, good looking, masculine guy, you need to be a nice, good looking, high value, feminine woman.
Mm-hmm.
Feminine woman, right? So like there's attraction and there's polarity with the masculine and the feminine. But like equals like. So be who you want to meet. Right? So if you want high value, be high value yourself. And then you will meet, because you will vibrate at the same vibration and your paths will cross. And he'll be like, that is my girl. And then do the rules.
Yes. More important. Yes.
Rules.
I love
make
it.
Him work really hard and make him slay the dragon and make him woo you and make him earn your heart.
Yes, because your heart is very, very valuable. Yes.
Very, very. We are very, very valuable, ladies. Mm-hmm. And we are like only like 2% of the population. We are very rare.
Yes, rare diamonds.
And rare equals valuable, like diamonds.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with us, Penny. So in terms of where to from here, so if what we're talking about resonates with you, Penny's got a special offer on at the moment, and it's a very generous offer. So 50% off all the courses on her website. So I'm going to post the links in the comment, and extra special 50% off the services she offers. So the one-on-one consults and that sort of stuff.
One-on-one consults, 50% at the moment as well.
Yeah, which is huge. So, and that goes through till, I think it's, did you say November 30? So it's a Black Friday sale.
Do we have a 30 or do we have a 31st this year? In November, it's 30.
30's November, yeah.
So 30th of November is the last day.
Okay, lovely. So I'll post the links in the comments. The discount code is Black Friday 2021, so I'll post that as well. Penny also has a love school, which I would also highly recommend. That's not 50% off though, because that's already a good deal. But if you're interested in that, those details will be on her website as well. But please make use of the 50% discount if you resonate with what Penny's saying and you want to get to know more about it. Please post any questions below as well, and Penny and I will circle back and help you out. But thank you so much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure to talk about this. I love catching up with you.
I love talking to you.
Oh, we could probably go on for another 3 hours.
I know. Jen was like, we're going to do 30 minutes. And I was like, you're so innocent.
30 minutes, that ain't happening.
You and me. Come on.
Yeah, that was a bit of it. That was a bit what is it? Ambitious to think that we could do anything in 30 minutes. I think we'd only just got through the stories at 30 minutes, let alone getting into the
we just got through the introduction. Because we like HSP-Es, With you guys chatters. Oh, thank you.
Yes. We're having our catch up time. We're having our extroverting time.
Yeah. And I also
All right.
feel great after talking to you. So I'm very, very happy to be
Oh,
here.
thank you. And I'm very, very happy that you think so. And I love talking to you too. You always make me giggle. So thank you again for sharing your wisdom with us. And if anybody has any questions, as I
Then
said,
when is, do you have a wedding date yet?
no,
Warren!
because I'll tell him. I'll say, Warren,
Really?
come on. It's actually my fault, to be honest. I'm the one that's kind of stalling at the moment. But I will let you know for sure because it is on my mind, and part of it is me trying to figure out what I want to do. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And
I'll let
you
you
just
know.
come out of lockdown, right? So I'll let you.
Well, it's mainly because we've been living in the caravan, so we've been
Oh,
away
yes,
from
not very
Perth.
glamorous.
Been away for almost 7 months now, so it's a bit hard to plan anything. And yeah, but watch this space. I will let you know because it's going to happen.
Okay.
I just got to figure out what I want to do. Oh, I love it. All right, thank you so much again. Thank you everybody for watching. It
Thank
was
you.
really lovely to catch up with you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us all, and I hopefully will catch up with you really soon. So I'll just stop the live stream. See you everybody.